This is the Canon PowerShot Pro1, an 8-megapixel bridge camera released back in 2004. Despite looking rather unassuming, it packs a powerful punch in terms of features and image quality. And the secret's out, I guess, because recently the price to pick up one of these went up to a whopping $70. While that may seem like a lot for a camera of this age, just wait till you can see what it can do. Welcome back to the Snappiness YouTube channel, where I like to shoot with older digital cameras like this PowerShot Pro1. Just saying the name makes me feel like a professional, and apparently Canon thought the same about this camera. From the build quality to the lens to the amount of controls, this camera was aimed squarely at enthusiasts who wanted a compact camera with incredible quality. Let me start with build quality. I own a few of the Pro1's competitors, and the Canon is maybe overall the best in terms of build quality. Whatever plastic they used here just feels a little bit better than either my Sony f828 or the Nikon 8-400. The controls feel solid. Maybe the only fiddly bit is the lens, which I'll get to a little bit more later, but it's plasticky and it shakes a little bit, and when zooming in and out, I feel like I'm gonna break it. There's a satisfying groove in the back of the camera where you put your thumb, and while the Sony f828 wins in my book for ergonomics overall, this is a much smaller camera. So Canon hit a good mark here for compact but comfortable. Now, it may be a compact from 2004, but this camera packs an amazing amount of features for the photography enthusiast. For example, you can shoot in priority modes along with full manual, including manual focus with this awesome punch and zoom focus assist mode that automatically turns on. You can attach an external flash, and it has a built-in pop-up flash, a built-in ND filter. It can shoot video if you're into that early 2000s looking video. And you have a screen that flips out with live view or a built-in EVF. You have very DSLR-esque controls, my favorite being the little control dial next to the shutter button, which a lot of compact cameras avoid, but I really like a lot. This is a camera that a professional photographer can pick up and appreciate. Maybe I should back up and say that I was given this camera as a gift last year, and the owner of this camera said that the 8-megapixel sensor can really perform. I was maybe a little bit skeptical at the time, but boy were they right. And the image quality starts with the lens. It is sharp and full of life. It's not a dull point-and-shoot lens experience here. Some reviewers make a big deal over the fact that it has Canon's L designation, which is reserved for the best glass, and apparently this was the first one to show up on a compact fixed lens camera glass. I think that's just the marketing department's idea, but nonetheless, it certainly performs very well. The only thing that let me down with the lens, besides the finicky build quality, is that it doesn't have very good starburst, whereas my Sony f828 has some really distinct starburst when stopped down. The 28 to 200 millimeter range is plenty to shoot anything you would realistically want to shoot with this camera. Okay, one more gripe about the lens. The zoom on this lens, along with the focus, is electronically controlled and not mechanical, which is not my favorite. Now, past the lens, we have this 8-megapixel CCD Sony sensor in here, and the processor along with the sensor puts out some really pleasing colors. and you could easily make this your JPEG casual shooter. And when you do choose to shoot RAW, you get a surprising amount of shadow and highlight recovery. Here's a scene with high dynamic range, and I was able to boost the shadows and drop the highlights for an amazing single exposure shot on such an old camera. In my opinion, the Canon PowerShot Pro1 remains an incredibly capable camera almost 20 years after its release date. There's some other old cameras I use on this channel where I make some pretty big sacrifices for the sake of nostalgia and just for having fun, but this camera is not so much that way. I feel confident I could use it to take anything from family snapshots, travel, to epic landscapes with it. I get consistently good results from it. It represents a camera that, while it may not be famous, deserves to be remembered. Thanks for watching. How many of you are shooting with an old digital camera from the early 2000s? Let me know what you're shooting and how you're getting along with it in the comments below. Remember to go out there and shoot with whatever camera you have now, and until next time, happy snapping.